So the Rick Corey Sports Special, once again, my computer's decided to mess up the picture, but that's fine. Travis Hill needs to be the bigger part of that anyway. And we are talking to the new, I say new, it's not new anymore, Broken Arrowhead football coach. And well, since we talked a little bit, things have changed. It's almost time. You guys are going to leave the state for the first two games. When's the last time you did that?
Yeah, that's interesting. Where you not only have two away games to start your season, but not only away, but actually in another state, the state of Arkansas. So uh, we'll get acquainted with it. It's too bad we just can't spend the night over there and be ready again to go next week. But heading over to Fayetteville. But let's see if we can't take care of business in Springdale, Arkansas, here on Friday night.
And you begin with two of the better athletes in the state with Samaji, and then of course Brown in your defensive backfield. They're both move-ins, but hey, you're new to this too. How
Yep,
does this team come together? And I say that in the bigger term, coach, because we all know that in college it's crazy, but in high school it's becoming that way with a lot more
absolutely.
players coming in every year. So a nucleus has to almost be rebuilt every year. How's that going?
That's a great question, and it's the truth because great football teams just don't have good football players. They are a team. They are a unit. They are a working group of people. So I felt like that's very important as we have transitioned in this the last 2 years. I actually asked those questions as these young men come into our program and let them know what our expectations are immediately concerning that. Usually, people don't come into your program not necessarily they're coming to help themselves. Potentially, they're coming for a variety of reasons, but they're also usually pretty good football players or potentially pretty good football players. So they're going to be assets as long as they work within the team concept. So it's something that we've worked with diligently as we finalized this roster. And that's something I wish was changed. But we finalized the roster actually July 15th. Rick, these days, be honest with you. Come on now, we lost some kids during that between the July 1st to the 15th, and we gained some kids. So your roster, it's not like it's an overwhelming amount. It was 2-2. But the bottom line is it is a different group of kids, and we work at it really diligently to bring them all together and give them our expectations. And here to speak on our behalf, it's worked wonderfully. Our add-ons have fit right on in with the chemistry, not just obviously the ability that they have, but the chemistry side of it. And believe it or not, are accepting and have leadership roles on our football team.
And that's good. In the days I played and you played, that was a long time ago. Everybody went both ways. Then
Yep.
there was a time when we switched out and nobody went both ways. And now, Bixby had brought back that, and so many others had done that as well. Lower
Mm-hmm.
classifications have had to because of numbers. And now
Right.
we're seeing it in your greatest athletes. And you've got a couple of those in Brown and Samaji. Will you use them offensively? I'm sure you will. Some tell us how that might go.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them with their ability. Some of this may be situational football, and some of them may be a full time deal. And I've always believed in that. I think it's unique too, just to kind of add on to that. I'm starting to see colleges, especially the ones that we get to refer to here at the local. But I've heard Coach Nagy, the new the roles that he plays over there at the University of Oklahoma, wanting two-way players, recruiting two-way players. So it's kind of nice to see that that's maybe coming back. Good, bad, only time will tell. But yes, both of we have we probably have on our chart up here. I can look on our board right to the left. We got 8 kids that train both offensively and defensively. Some more than others. Obviously, some of them are just very situational. Some of them could have been a full time position. So we feel like that we are going to use some of the uniqueness. Let's just use Samaj Stanford that he brings. He's a defensive back. He'll tell you that, but he'll also tell you he likes scoring touchdowns. And we're not stupid enough to say, hey, if he's going to asset our football team and make us a better offensive football team, yes, Jay Wilkinson's going to steal him and use him for situational and maybe full time play. That will be seen as we progress through the season.
Yeah, everybody wants a Travis Hill, and when you're talking about high school football, Samaji might be pretty close to that. Describe his skill set for those who aren't aware of him.
Well, I mean, just number one and foremost, us as coaches, the best way to put this, Rick, 6'6", 300 pounds. And I'm not describing this kid right now, Samaj, but 6'6", 300 pounds runs a 4.4. All those are huge assets that aren't probably realistic. That's over here, if you see my fingers, and it's supposed to be over there, does you no good. So when you look at Samaj, what's his biggest asset? He is a football player. He understands. He is Coach Stanford to go along with Samaj Stanford, the player. His intelligence on the football field is unbelievable, and I think that's realistic. That may not be what a young man wants to hear. He wants to hear how high he can jump and everything, but that's his number one asset. I'm going to tell you right now. It's just fortunate that he runs a 10 500 meters, and his ball skills are incredible, and his attitude and his takeoff of the game is unbelievable. 3.8 student, has not been late to a meeting yet, has been the last one to leave. I mean, come on now, Rick. We're great coaches because we have great players, and that's truly what a great player is. We have so many kids. I want D1. I'm a D1 kid. Well, D1 kids take care of every fine tune. That means on the field and off the field, and so that's the best way to describe Samaj as a complete football player.
How about BB Brown?
BB Brown, same thing. I mean, a young man that is still learning the game. That there is a difference there. He's still learning the game. I find it kind of hard that sometimes that some of the things that he doesn't see that we're now coaching and implementing. And so what you see from him is you immediately see the impact Samaj has. Bam, it's just like that. You're seeing BB's impacts coming a little slower, not because of lack of ability or anything of that behalf, because of knowledge of the game. And so he's learning the game every day, and it's so much fun to watch Steve Craver and Kevin Gordon, two of our secondary guys that work primarily with our safeties, coaching that kid on a daily basis and watching him gain that knowledge on a daily basis. So BB's coming right along again off the field, another hardworking, great ethnic guy that, like I said, both those young men are two of our leaders on our football team right now.
This is Coach Travis Hill from Broken Arrow, and this is the Rick Corey Sports Special. This segment is sponsored by Tulsa Accident Care Center. There's an office in Broken Arrow, Owasso, and Tulsa. I'll tell you a bit more about them as we get to the end of the video. For those who are Broken Arrow fans, they're familiar because you'd been there, of course, as a defensive coordinator a while back, so they know your defensive style. But you brought Jay Wilkinson offensively, right. So we know where he comes from. But tell me what the offensive personality of this group will be, Coach.
Okay, and Jay, if he could get in here, obviously got me going. That's another story there with what we're doing this morning. But it's still a work in progress, to be honest with you, Rick, because we think we know, and Jay has a certain style, which is a very multiple offense with a lot of movement, a lot of shifts, understands. And we love having conversation with each other, being a defensive guy and an offensive guy. What hurts you, Coach? What hurts the defense? And so to be able to share information back and forth is really a lot of fun. The few things I get to do as far as coaching football, besides being the CEO, is a lot of fun. So Jay's very, very multiple. And what we're doing is we're looking as we go into this. Yes, we've had him. We've been doing this for a while. We've had all summer. But we have not, as yet, played a game, Rick. And the final line is scrimmaging and everything else is all good, but you still got to get out and play a game to find that identity. I think every year, especially as we spoke earlier with the changeovers. But I think we have an idea what we want to do. But I still think it's a little bit of a work in progress. So Jay is we have two fantastic running backs. We have a very experienced offensive line. We both believe run the football. So that's going to be in the repertoire. That's what we're going to try to do. But we also know, and Jay's so he's worked in every offensive match. Well, he's worked in for football terms and too tight eye, all the way to the air raid offense. So very multiple what he's going to do, and we're very fortunate we have several good athletes on that side of the football that we can be very, very multiple. So I think probably that's the number one thing that we want to do from a standpoint. And I'm going to speak for Jay a little bit, whether it be from the tempo standpoint, multiple formations, movement. I think you're going to see all that. And I think we're good enough and intelligent enough to be able to see a little bit different style, maybe week to week, based on what our opponent's going to do. So very happy with what's going on there. But as we both get in here and scratch our heads a little bit once in a while, we're still just a little bit wondering about the dynamics. And I think both of us are really looking forward to Friday night.
Yeah, but you just find out when the lights come on what those kids are going to do and what they're capable of doing. We talked about a couple of the big names. Tell us some other names that people might not know this year or that are going to, you think, shine.
Well, that's great stuff. I'm going to start off. I'm going to give a lot of kudos to a kid we do know, Jeremiah Satimba. He's a returning quarterback.
Yep.
Now, as we come in as a staff, there's no starters. And I made that perfectly clear. I don't care who you are and what you think. And everybody, I think they really realized that when I said, here's the offensive and here's the defensive, and you're going both ways. And everybody was confused. I said, there's no starters. We'll find out what side of the ball you're on through our process of earning that opportunity. But I think Jeremiah Satimba did us a great job. He hung in there with us. He believed in us enough to say, hey, it's going to be, and he won the war. So I'm going to mention him because he had a fight. He could have chosen a new time and error we have to say, I don't want to do that fight. I was the starting quarterback, and he chose to stay here, and he earned it. And I told him, if you're going to be our quarterback and you want the respect that you need, you got to do that. So I want to tip the hat to Jeremiah. Great job. But guys that are going to be recognized that you don't know, Nate Jackson, linebacker, okay? Going to be a great prospect, a 6'2", 230-pound. I haven't coached a linebacker that big since I've been coaching for 30-plus years.
Wow.
That's not true. When I was at NEO, I coached several, but I'm at the high school ranks. Outstanding speed, outstanding athlete, athletic as all get out. Will be a special player for us. Nate Jackson, linebacker, Sam linebacker. On the offensive side of the football, a new name, Titan Hicks. That probably rings a bell. Coach Hicks, his son, outstanding football player, brings the dynamics of us having a tight end. It's so multiple. Can do multiple things. Don't be surprised. I'm not tipping the hat. Everybody knows. He lined up at quarterback. Oh yes, he did. He lined up at fullback. He lined up at wide receiver. He lined up at tight end. Very multiple player, but that we can use and utilize on the offense side of football that I think will make big strides for us. Some of them won't be in the paper because blocking is part of that too. He's an outstanding blocker. So those two young men that kind of stick out a little bit, really, really new names, Rick, that people won't know. There's a young man by the name of, I'm struggling with his first name. That's how new I am too, but Ayers, I'll get his first name first, as our nose guard. Man, he's making play after play after play in the practice and scrimmage scenes, doing a great job for us in that position. That was something that we had some concern with coming in, making sure our defensive line was good. He has solidified that for us at the nose guard position. And then on the offensive side of the football, kind of a new name is Sam Daring, offensive lineman. We have all these big kids, seniors and everything. Sam's the little squatty one when you get out there. And Sam's 5'10", 5'11", 260. But man, he's really kind of you don't know he's there. Just when you know you got a good offensive lineman until you throw on the film, and you always you rewind to say, well, who is that again? And you see the blocks and what he brings to the football team. He's a silent leader, very deadly, and probably, to be honest with you, at this point in time, from a grade standpoint, our best offensive lineman. So those are two names out of nowhere that nobody would really know that I think are going to help us, especially interior in the offensive and defensive line.
Outstanding. Well, we're going to talk about your defense and Harbor in a moment. I want to explain what Tulsa Accident Care Center is. If you ever had an auto accident and then you say to yourself, okay, I got to fix the car, that's fine. But what about fixing you? And you have to go to your doctor, and then they send you for imaging, and then they send you for blood work, and they send you all over the place. Well, you can do all that in one place at Tulsa Accident Care Center. And that location in Broken Arrow, Wausau, and Tulsa will do that. You make one call, you go to one office, and all of it is in one place. You need imaging, it's right there in the same building. You need blood work, it's in the same building. You need PT, it's right there in the same building. You can do everything in one place. It simplifies your life an awful lot. You have enough to worry about that you don't need to be doing that all over town. One place. Jared Gallagher is such a great supporter of high school football. Wanted to support Coach Hill this year, and so I want to thank Jared for that. And he's also, of course, talking to us about Owasso and others. So I want you to make sure that you give them a call if, and I don't want you to have an accident, but if you do, hey, let's be honest, you leave a high school game, anything can happen. It's pretty busy around those stadiums. You want to call Tulsa Accident Care Center. All right, Coach Travis Hill with us, and you're a defensive guy. So,
Yep.
You stick your nose over there an awful lot, I'm sure. And I think everybody knows your style, but you've got different players every year. They mold a little bit. You mold a little bit. Tell us about this group.
Well, it's an interesting group, but we're very multiple. We talked about that offensively, and you're saying defense is multiple too. Yeah, you got to match up properly. It's a little tougher in high school football. The Bigsby, and I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to embarrass the coaches. They do. It's a compliment to them though. They do such a great job with the way they personnel things and make you work very diligently. You can't personnel against Bigsby because they're going to personnel all their people on their hash. It's not college football where if they sub, you get time to sub. You got to get it in. You can't get your kids across the field while their kids are already on starting the football play. Okay, so those things are unique, and I just bring those to attention. I think that's kind of unique, even for a good fan that knows football. Those are some of the changes that are going on, and so we have to be very, very multiple with the people we have, the package we have on the field, much less the packages when we can match up with personnel or whatever we decide to do on on Saturdays and Sundays with our work time and preparation time. So we will base out of our even front that if you know Coach Hill, we are a 4-3 football team. what I learned at Stillwater High School, and when my first job with Dr. Bill DeFee and all the people there, and have moved on through the process with with Dale Patterson at NEO, and then me taking that program over and doing what we do there. And so we just continued to climb with that, Rick, with what we do. So I don't think there's any secrets, but we do. It was very, very fun and educational my first tenure here at Broken Arrow as the defense coordinator. At the next level of being able to identify and work against those. So we have taken the defense of the simplicity that I've had in the past and have made it very, very, very multiple. And we can defend anything from any personnel that we have on the field. We have our adjustments and everything, and they're all concrete, and that's a lot of fun because it's not guesswork. So once you get in our defense, what I think it allows us to do is play fast, and that's what we want to do. So, Rick, I kind of want to make another mention. I don't care what scheme you have, okay, 3-4, odd front, this, that, whatever it may be. You got to have 11 football players that are determined to be, one and foremost, take care of their responsibility and tackle well, okay, and play hard. If you got that, you got a good defense. If you don't have that, I don't care what scheme you have, you don't have a good defense. So what we do is we find our best 11 football players that can do that, put them on defense, and formulate what they can do. So that's been a philosophy of mine forever. Is simplicity allows us kids to know what we're doing, play hard, no excuses. And if we have a problem defensively, we're having some, whatever the team, we don't even have to put it in rewind on film. We know right there on the spot, if we can go back to our base defense, we ought to be able to solve all problems. And if we ain't solving it there, then the problem is we're not tackling well. Okay.
Right.
We're not playing hard, or maybe we don't got people in the right place. But bottom line is, so we'll be very, very multiple again with what we do defensively to match up. But I think we have 11 and even more kids with some depth there that can play hard, understand what we're trying to do, and understand this type of defense, not necessarily the schematic defense, but the type of defense we want to play week in and week out.
Right, because when you're talking about multiple, it's not necessarily schematic. It's a player who's able to do multiple things, and they're going to go in different places. Because a thinking player is a slow player. It's a reacting player who knows that can make plays.
Yeah, you just said it. Just probably in a little bit better terms than what Coach Hill did. It's exactly the truth, Rick. That's what we're looking for, and that's any defensive guy that's been around for a while. They're looking for the same thing.
Absolutely. Right now, I got a chance to see Harbor a little bit. They were at Union's preview, so I'm sure you've had an opportunity to watch at least some of them as well. What are your takeaways?
That's good stuff. This is the best way I can put it. So it's huge compliment. We saw them in some spring camp stuff. Okay, not very good. That's a new coaching staff. Okay, right. Not very good. Not very good. Okay. I was in the same place you were last Thursday, I believe, there at that particular scrimmage, and watched a team that was extremely organized, extremely effective with what they're trying to do, and was night and day from what I saw in the spring. Now, from my standpoint, compliments and kudos to the coaching staff. Great job. On my behalf, I'm going, dang, I wish they looked like they did in the spring.
Sure,
but we got our hands full. A team that if we don't go over and play extremely well on Friday night, they are capable of beating the Broken Arrow Tigers. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it because they do things right. And I just got a feeling they're not going to give you a game, Rick. They're not going to beat themselves. You're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to prove the point that you do have a better football players, a better football team. So very, very complimentary what they're doing. Got an outstanding quarterback that's very multiple, very athletic, best athlete on the team, maybe the best athlete on the field, other than maybe Samaj and some of those guys, but very, very athletic. Simplistic up to now. We'll see some new wrinkles as we roll out on the field tomorrow night. And then defensively, the linebacker core just sticks out like a sore thumb, man. 4 guys in their concept and their scheme that gets the football extremely well, tackle well. You just heard me talk about the importance that play well, vice well, and in the proper positions. Every snap, it seems like they're just where they need to be. And they got a secondary, especially their 2 corners, that we feel like match up well against us. I don't know what their depth looks like, but those guys that are playing on the field right now match up well and cause us a lot of concern. We're going to have to go over and play well from a team that I think, and I'm not trying to be mean, was struggling in the past, not just on that spring, but in the past couple of years. That's the reason why there's a transition over there.
Yep.
And I think they've solved a lot of the problems, and they're doing a great job.
Last thing before you go, your travel philosophy. You're going to, like I said, you have to leave twice. Doesn't seem like it's a big deal. It's not that far away. I get all that, but they're high school kids. You got to keep them
Yep.
focused. You want to, everybody has a different way to do it. How do you like to travel?
Rick, think this through a little bit. You ever been to a Broken Arrow game?
Yes, sir.
It's a doggone pony show, and I say that respectfully. Okay,
Yes,
it's
sir.
a huge event, and there's so many things going on. From a coach's perspective, you kind of say, "Hey, man, bring that down. Let's just think about football." But it's a huge event. So what I'm getting at this, I think it's good that we're traveling. We get away from all of that distraction. And it shouldn't be, but it is. Come on, they are. You said it, high school kids. So getting on a bus with the 70 we're traveling with and going over there as a group of people and away from all distractions just by ourselves, I think will probably be advantageous to us and more in tune with what we're really trying to do, which is not go out and see that girl or whatever it may be, or the band or this or that, or mom and dad and all my relatives, to the idea that we're going over to play a football game. So Rick, our philosophy has always kind of been that way. It's an opportunity to narrow it down and focus in on the road with a group of people without all the distractions. So we're going to take that to our advantage, use it to our advantage like we always do, and I think it will be to our advantage, not to our disadvantage. To say, now next week after getting one on our belt, we'd love to be home, but that's not the way it worked. But we'll look at it and like always, we'll take what would soon to be a negative, playing on the road, and make it a positive.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, this was a little longer than normal because we had to introduce a lot of things, but thank you for your time. We'll catch up with you again next week and good luck.
Rick, appreciate it, man. Look forward to it, bub. Appreciate you, man.